when I'm at Cowboys Stadium or sitting at home, and I hear Papa John's Pizza for Jerry Jones. Yo, it lights me up like a Roman candle with toppings and flavor almost too good to handle. Cowboys, 5 stars, what I get. It's like a Papa John's Pepsi, double threat. Get a Papa John's large with up to 5 toppings and a 2-liter Pepsi. People are swapping, cause there's no better value. Y'all catch my ride? Cowboys 5-star combo for $10.99.
The greatest use of a wah-wah pedal of all time. That's a joke for video, man.
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
It's a wah-wah?
You put your foot on it, you know?
I don't know. What is it? Is it on the drums?
No, like when you're playing guitar.
Oh.
You have like pedals.
Okay. I guess I've seen them, and
you stand on them, and sometimes
I just
they
don't
go,
understand your world.
Wow, like that.
I know you're a part of my world, but your world is foreign to me. It's frightening. Your vehicles.
Are you sure you can say that?
What? I don't know. Oh, the unfrozen caveman lawyer?
Can we just do that now?
Nope.
2 more days.
Yeah, we can in 2 days. We can say whatever the hell we want.
That was so stupid.
Except, Brunig was telling me earlier, I mean, there are, except the confidential information. Oh, okay, so almost. But he's like, yeah, pretty much. And you know Brunig, he's like, just kind of go for it.
So if he's saying don't, then don't.
Right.
Yeah.
No, if he says don't. But usually.
The unfrozen thing is by far the funniest thing that happened to us.
I'm sure we could talk about that now, but let's wait.
Okay.
Let's tease ahead.
Okay.
Because, yes, some legal restrictions still remain. It's fuzzy, but
it is a bit fuzzy.
We're just kind of being.
You need to cool down.
We are cooling down.
Does it cool off?
We're being overly out of an abundance of caution.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how we live our lives. We're dirty libs. We're simps. We'll do whatever we're told. We're sheep.
Basically, no one is saying simps but you anymore.
Oh,
I just want you to know that.
That's hey.
Like
I'm a
feel
different
like
dude. I don't just.
If you said simp to your daughter, they'd be like, "That's 4 years ago."
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Well, they'd. Well, you know. Anyway.
What
are you guys doing? How's it going? We're recording this live to tape on Tuesday, the 30th of January. So, 30 days have September, April, June, and November. All the rest have 31, except for February.
Jesus,
which is different. Sometimes it's 28.
You okay?
We have 29 or 28 days in February this year. Anyway, 31 days. So tomorrow is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have a phone.
That's you don't need to know anything anymore?
No.
You know, that's a problem I've learned with Duolingo. You know, my morning routine has added 5 minutes of Duolingo.
Yeah.
It's just refreshing my Spanish that I kind of already know. It's not really. I don't think I'm learning too much now.
You conjugating?
Except vestido is dress.
Yeah.
And it's L. I got that wrong this morning.
So
that was surprising to me. I would think.
You know, you can tell me what to do.
I would
Not
think,
these two. If you need me to move, I'll move.
No, I'm completely useless.
I would think dress would be feminine, but it's masculine.
So, like, just straight up EL?
Like La Casa is feminine. It's a house.
La and L, yeah.
And it's El Vestido. I got it wrong.
So is this like a game?
So, kind of. Yeah, it's an app.
Okay.
And it tries to make it fun and whatever.
Vestido?
Yes.
Okay. Isn't that the giveaway? If it ends in O, it's an L? Not always.
Not always.
Okay.
So
I think that's what he's saying.
What was I starting to tell you, though? Why did I start telling you about that?
Oh, I don't know.
Duolingo.
Your morning routine.
Something
what you do when you get up.
I led into it. It was
the months? Days of the months?
Days of the months. It's January something.
I don't know, man.
You tried to do the whole, like, rhyme thing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jesus.
Should we start over?
No, I think we're fine.
Okay.
I think we're fine.
Can we?
Maybe I'll
No.
tell you tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow to see if I
Yeah.
can remember, if I can listen back to what we were saying, or maybe after the break. So let's take a break. No, I'm just kidding. In the future, we will have breaks. So that's a topic that I wanted to throw out there for today.
Sure.
Because, of course,
Do you like these socks?
Are you directing this at me?
Yeah. You've been making fun of my socks for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Show the camera.
yeah, we are on camera for today.
It's fine.
It's fine.
But we have we're in the taint of our career. We're in the middle portion.
No
Yeah,
We're
holes, right?
No
holes
holes.
in your socks.
No
Okay.
holes. No.
Sorry.
We're trying to figure things out. So the new model for now, as we were talking yesterday in our live spot about live spots, is that we're on all the podcast platforms with 2 free epis per week. Hopefully in the future it'll be ad supported.
That would be ideal.
That's kind of the point. But if
Yeah.
you're a Patreon subby, you will get 2 additional episodes each week, plus some other vague benefits that we're figuring out right now. We
Yeah.
haven't totally nailed that down.
You
But,
could probably see my balls.
so yeah,
We're trying
so
to
the Patreon episodes maybe will
rip
be
this thing up.
will be
video
ad
man.
free as well.
Yeah.
Like possibly in the future we'll like just drop an ad break in
Yeah.
to the free episodes, but then if you continue to subscribe on Patreon, you'll get those on Patreon too, but it'll be those breaks won't be in there. I don't
Right.
know.
Yeah. We don't really know.
What's interesting is we've been learning about business. It's very slowly.
Yeah.
And in the radio world, your national advertisers are generally, you will get less revenue from those than the local advertisers. But it seems in the podcast world, it's the opposite because, and we get, I'll demonstrate in a moment, but we get emails from all over the place. So we have listeners all over. We have listeners in other countries. We have listeners in other states, other cities in this state, whatever. Many, which is odd to me, but I like it.
Yeah.
But just not Nebraska.
Just not Nebraska. That's a great point.
We don't have a listener in Nebraska?
I sent that in
we
the
ran the report.
Yeah. The analytics show that not one time have we been listened to in Nebraska.
Really?
Yeah.
Which is why I told Jake we got to center news towards Nebraska
Yeah.
events. We need to
It was
capture Nebraska.
the one state we haven't been listened to in.
Yeah.
You're saying we've been listened to in every other state?
Pretty
Yes.
sure that's, yeah.
And you could tell that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. But, so the point is there, if you're a national advertiser, let's say you're Pro Flowers or something, that's everybody listening will hear you. Or will be able to frequent your business. But
Yep.
if you're Grapevine Ford or Eatsy's, what do they care about the guy in Nebraska? They want you to live in DFW. And so that's why it seems the opposite, like we will be able to generate less revenue with a local advertiser than we will with a net. It's just something that's interesting to me.
Great.
And,
I'm
possibly-
glad you're learning how this all works.
Possibly to somebody else in the world, but apparently not the 2 guys I'm sitting here
I'm
with.
writing it down. I think that's great.
I'm glad you read Blake's email
That makes a lot of sense.
that I read meticulously.
Yeah.
When?
It was like a week ago.
I got a lot going on, man. Actually, I have very little going on.
I was going to say, you have
tell you
nothing
the
going on. I read the whole thing, word by word. And he said, Nebraska's the only place that we don't have any listenership.
So we do appreciate all the subscribers sticking with us, and as we move forward, and maybe someday we'll be totally off this. I don't know. There's a possibility too. We've been approached by people at Substack saying, "Hey, why don't you move your podcast over here? We won't take as much from you as Patreon will."
It's a lot less. to be honest.
And they're like, but if you did that, people would have to resubscribe over here.
Mm-hmm.
And then that will inevitably cause some people just to not.
Yeah.
And so we're contemplating doing that. Possibly we will just open it up on Substack and here, Patreon, and then you could just decide, hey, if you want to go through it. If you don't, just keep doing the Patreon thing because the Patreon app is a pretty good one.
Yeah.
I don't know how the Substack
It's pretty good now, too.
media player app is.
It's pretty good now, too.
I subscribe to a couple of Substacks, and I just
Copy and paste.
Copy-paste into my
Yeah.
Overcast. So, and here's a good bit. Blake sent this to me from Brian, because apparently Blake has set up a show Venmo account.
Yeah.
Does that have an address? It's www.
There's absolutely no way that it's a URL, and that's cumbersome and annoying.
Well, and it's basically for people who want to get us to come out to their place like we did last Friday.
Sure.
At Wire Will's, or as some have called him, Fire Will. Had his house burned down.
Sure.
Good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So for $690, we will go out to your place of your choosing. It might be a business now. Next week, I think we got a couple businesses on the books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go to Venmo at the Dumb Zone.
There you go.
Real easy.
Pretty simple.
Yep.
What do you think of his hat?
Distracting.
Yeah.
But
Should I turn it inside out? That's what I've been doing. Anyway, Brian sent us, for no reason at all the other day, $160. He wrote, I wanted to pay more for content but not give extra to Patreon.
Look at that guy.
How cool is that
What
guy?
a rebel.
hero.
Wouldn't we like to wine and dine Brian? Take
I don't
him
think
out
if you turned it
and then have
inside
sex
out,
with
it
him.
would really...
No, I wear this
change
inside
anything.
out. You've seen it before.
Oh,
look
okay.
at
That's what
that.
that is? Okay. I see what you got going on there. Yeah.
I kind of like the black.
That's a lot better for me. That's a lot better for me.
Well, I thought since you're going skiing, you'd want to see someone with a neon hat. Isn't that a big ski wear?
I mean...
Or is that when I went skiing in the 80s?
You're
Watch
going
Hot
to
Tub-
have a bad time.
Watch Hot Tub Time Machine, and you will see
Pizza,
my life. I used to ski in the 80s.
pizza, and what's the other one?
French fry.
French fry. There you go.
I would ski on the weekend.
You would ski on the
sometimes.
weekends. I was actually like blown away when Dan told me that they had skiing in the Ohio region.
Yeah, Mom was lamenting that yesterday. She was telling me about global warming, saying that like they haven't had good enough snows for skiing this year.
Interesting.
Whereas when I grew up,
All the time.
I belonged to ski club
Ski club.
Wow.
in high school. Yeah, so we would take
Okay, let's talk about this for a minute.
we would have a weekend trip or a weekly trip to I think it was
Weekly?
called Boston Mills, a little place by Geauga Lake, which was our Six Flags-ish place, SeaWorld, Geauga Lake, and then it was kind of where LeBron grew up, that area.
Nothing is given.
Right, but it was that little south of Cleveland, and there's a couple of small hills.
You were in ski club?
And ski club, yeah, I went every week.
Here it is, Boston Mills.
You're looking at Boston Mills?
Yeah.
Ski?
Were you a rich kid?
No, I think, middle. Back then the dollar would go farther. Thanks,
Yeah,
Biden.
that's true. Yeah. It wasn't Biden's America.
But I didn't own,
Skis?
skis. I just, but my dad was big into skiing. My dad
Damn.
did well. My dad, would take us skiing to, I can't remember. Holiday Valley. Look that up. That's in New York, which
Okay.
makes a lot more sense, near Buffalo. And then, he had a boat. He was fun. My dad was great to hang out with.
You met him?
Yeah, way back then. I knew him well. It's Dad, too.
We just went to New Mexico.
See, that's a lot more dollars. Like,
No,
take a
it's-
look at Boston Mills, dude. It is not like
Yeah.
New
one of-
Mexico is extremely run down.
It looks like a skate park with snow.
It's a hill. It's not really.
New Mexico is not much better. And in fact, the fun thing about it, and my dad actually loved this because I believe it was actually his wife, my stepmom, that had a family cabin there. So he sort of married into it. The mountain was run by the natives. And they don't have to play by your rules. So they would run the lifts like 4 or 5 times faster than they should be running.
Okay.
And if you got hit in the head, like by a chairlift, they're just like, get out of the way.
You shouldn't have been there?
Yeah.
They let you ski in the dark.
100%. Yeah. They were running a very serious, like, you've heard about that before. I'm not positive that it's like reservation land, but you've heard about before, like they have different laws. And everyone who worked there was a Native American, and they would just be like, just go.
Is that our reparations? Like, look, sorry.
It's probably the closest thing we have to that.
So what if we just kind of let you do whatever you want?
Yeah. And I don't think it's like super common. I think it's only like a couple of tribes, but they have like what is it called? Like a PIF? Like the Saudis?
I have
the
zero
Public
idea.
Investment Fund.
All right.
There are people who get like $150,000 a month, or not a month, a year, from their tribe.
Okay. So it's like the Alaska bit?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there are people who their tribe invested that money in a certain fund, and
Like if
they
you're a
just get
native
like a
Alaskan,
dividend.
same situation, I think.
I think Alaska holds
Similar.
all of it with the state, and then invests it back at. But you know what? I could be wrong. Matt will correct me. But that is actually like I looked it up the other day, like the 8th biggest PIF in the world. Alaska. Texas is like 10. The University of Texas.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
They own like half of the western part of the state.
So they can
Drill.
pay $30 million
Yeah, they
to
can pay
coaches
Quinn
who
Ewers.
aren't there.
Exactly.
I have some Cowboys stuff. Do you want to wait and do like some viewer mail first? Let's do that, I think.
Bum, bum, bum.
Hey, everybody. It's time to answer some of today's viewer mail.
We start with a couple of birthdays. Uncle Hotmail, I'm writing to get my day one DF husband, Robert O. Gorman.
He's been over
Gordon.
here.
A shout-out on his DeMarco Murray birthday.
Wasn't he here?
Yeah,
Okay.
I just wanted you to tell me how old he is.
29.
Okay.
Yeah, I know spray tan.
Just checking out your cowboy knowledge.
That was like 10
That
years
was a
ago.
great call right there.
The only thing saving him, his Cowboys depression, was getting to watch Jake have it much worse live in the den.
Hey, thanks.
Drop request. No puppet.
No
We
puppet.
happen to have that. And because you are Robert O. Gorman, we'll give you this.
No puppet, 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 no puppet,
The extra no puppet.
no puppet, 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 no
The unasked
puppet, no
for.
puppet, no puppet, no puppet, no puppet, no puppet,
Dear hot, seductive, sensuous
Yeah,
daddy
thanks.
Hotmail,
Yeah.
Thanks. Video man was having fun with the video.
today, the 30th of this January, is my mother's 28th, 25th birthday.
Okay.
How old?
Happy
Blake?
birthday, Carla.
53.
There you go.
Thanks for conceiving me in the parking lot of the Dallas Cowboys training facility.
What?
That's probably Wichita Falls,
Oh.
for being honest.
I'm not sure what constitutes an email worthy of being read live to tape, so attached is a bikini pic.
Ooh. Hot.
Sorry I'm not busty. Those are supposed to be installed at a later time. And attached is the University of Houston's 9/11 memorial, complete with a 2-ton steel beam from, quote, one of the towers.
It is interesting that you will find that a lot of them are like, we don't know which tower, but it's one of them.
It's got to be.
It's gotta
Where
be.
else would this thing have come from?
There's no way.
Love Day One DF, a.k.a. Dan's future younger wife. I'll cook for you, never speak unless spoken to, and find plenty of out-of-home hobbies. A.k.a. Jake's next cigarette-smoking partner. And this is great because, you know, what I've always said, or maybe Sean Bass has always said, if she smokes.
Yeah.
She pokes.
That's right. Yeah. And that's an important prerequisite if you wanted to hook up with one of us.
Poking?
We love poking.
Yeah.
We're always poking.
That's all I do.
Jordan. Her name is Jordan, and she says, P.S. less Argyle Blake,
That's kind of a hot name.
more Blake opinions and sassy Blake.
Okay.
Well, you're in luck. He's wearing an Argyle basketball T-shirt today.
I won't talk about it for Jordan in hopes that I can maybe get in line.
Whoa. For what?
Smoking?
Yeah, after Dan's done or something.
Jeez.
Maybe you're one of her hobbies.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all.
Let's see. We have, this is clearly a fake name, Jake Lewinsky.
I hope not.
Because he says, you never read my custom Hotmail accounts on the show, so I stopped sending them. I think he was sending
From like a fake email.
Sinbaddy and
Yeah.
stuff, and I
Yeah.
don't know. So he says, however, today is my birthday. I don't trust that my wife's inferior Gmail account will make it past your rock-hard Hotmail security. My leaders are your newfound disdain for clouds, Blake's game day polos, and my wife's huge knockers. My drop request is all the deets you've been holding on to during your ball gagging the past few months. And then he also says, P.S. I work in the same building as the disgraced former mayor of Dallas who turned his suite into a podcast studio right by Love Field.
I know where that is.
Who's the disgraced mayor?
Dwayne Caraway.
Yeah. And by the way, there are multiple types of clouds that I like. Nimbus, Circus,
Mm-hmm.
Stratus.
Yeah.
That's great that you have those.
It's really just one type of cloud.
Again, he did sign his name as Jake Lewinsky, so I'm pretty sure it's fake. So he didn't want to give his real name, but he did say, like in the email, he said, please wait till Tuesday to read this. So he wanted to make sure it's actually on his birthday,
Okay.
but he doesn't want his name.
Really weird.
Yeah, I told you guys that I helped Dwayne Caraway kind of set up his suite, right?
I don't believe you did.
Yeah, it was like a year ago or something. He asked my advice on how to set up like his studio.
Imitate him saying it. How did he ask?
I won't do that, but I'll tell you that
You can. Who's going to cancel? It doesn't matter. Just do it.
he ordered.
Hey, Blake.
Whoa.
He
I was
did.
going to say hello, Blake.
He ordered pizza that day and called like Pizza Hut or something, and he started the phone call with, "Hey, this is Caraway,"
Wow.
like they would know him because I think he's so used to people knowing who he is.
Oh, I thought it was like, because if Jake calls Pizza Hut, they're like, Jake,
No, I think he just has that.
she's out of town again? Yep. All right, the double?
So what'd you do?
I just kind of helped him get going.
Equipment?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Did you make some coin?
No,
You just helped him pro bono?
yeah,
Man,
What a cock.
how come he doesn't do anything for us in that way? He's like, no.
You know,
The-
this is going to sound really racist. Clearly, at this point, I don't care. But when Stephen A. did his show at the station, were you there for this?
no.
Okay. I think I must have still been a producer. So it was me and Mino. And the funny part about it is, like, you can pull up, like, you know, other studios on the board. He walked in, swear to God, 2 grocery bags full of Popeyes.
Wow. All for him?
I don't know. I think he had a producer with him.
Well, how do you know that based on being able to pull up his show?
Well, I watched him. I mean, like our former setup.
Yeah.
Like I saw him come down the thing, and then he had me come in there and like pull his thing up. Like the pot or whatever.
That's so cool that did Stephen A. go through the Popeyes drive-thru and buy stuff for his crew?
It looked like it.
That seems pretty cool.
Yeah. He had 2 people with him, actually, a producer and like a tech. And
I've never heard anything good or bad about him.
The weirdest part about it was he's not like that normally.
What do you mean?
Like, in chill time, he would be chill.
Well,
Like,
that's
he was
not
super
surprising
normal.
at all, is it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I feel like there's some guys that you're just like, oh, is this guy like this all the time? I mean, maybe like regular people don't know that that's not how they are all the time. Like civilians, He would just sit there, and then the light would come on, and he would just go.
The Cowboys.
The Cowboys. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of seems like he might be cool off the air, and it seems like
He was super nice to us.
it seems like Skip would not be.
I would agree with that.
I don't know why. Just that
Yeah.
vibe you get. Also, we have greetings, Uncle Hotmail, Chiopino Jake. Isn't that
Chipino?
Chipino? Isn't that like some kind of soup?
The best soup that's ever been created.
Au pair Horny Blake.
Typically prawns, shrimp, fish, mollusks.
And Laughing Video Guy.
You got a shout out today.
Our brother Alex Stern turns 33 today. If you're reading this on January 31st. Well, we're not going to do a show on the 31st, so. He lives by the motto, that was a good news. For his birthday, we want to procure for him some vintage U.S. forged steel that became readily available during the early fall of 2001.
It's a funny way to put that.
But it seems most of it already sits in random Tex-Mex restaurants, parking lots, and across from gas stations in Ireland. So we will settle for a birthday wish from his leaders. That's from Alex's brothers.
Happy birthday, Alex.
That's right.
That was a good email.
That's a great email.
And pretty soon we have to decide if we just want to stop this 9/11 stuff because I got a few more today.
It's too much.
John Bick says, if this bit isn't old yet, here's our local heroes memorial from Fenton, Missouri, a St. Louis suburb. For no good reason, it includes a replica Twin Towers and a piece of the World Trade Center. And he sent an email with the attachments. And it is... So the replica Twin Towers are about as high as your waist, if that.
Okay.
And
that's confusing.
And the piece of the World Trade Center is really small. Like, it's just, like, that's all they could get.
Yeah.
And so they have a replica Twin Towers that are, it's very tiny. It's really, I don't know, it's probably more of a tragedy than the actual tragedy was. Howdy, my Dallas-based podcast covering sports news and entertainment heroes.
That's us.
I present to you Las Vegas's very own 9/11 memorial with its own steel beam from a tower, but overall still spare. It is across the street from the lesser-known Skinny Duggan's Casino and Lounge. It features scenic views of Walmart. From Carly B., your Las Vegas local Day 1 DF. Lots of people claim to be Day 1, but I have receipts.
Where's the Stephen Paddock Memorial?
And is that the Country Music Festival shooter?
Doesn't need a memorial.
I live in Mesquite.
Well, the people he shot 500 people, Blake. So if that doesn't feel like a
you don't think
memorial
9/11
worthy,
should have memorials?
Then, yeah, I guess not for you. He shot 500 people,
and we don't know anything about him.
We know plenty about it.
I live in Mesquite, and of
He was
course,
in the CIA.
There's a 9/11 Mimi, he calls it.
Mimi.
There's never a doubt in my mind Mesquite had one. I just had to Google it. The site says visitors of the park can see tridents symbolic of the steel structures that were part of the original Twin Towers facade. Additionally, the Mesquite Fire Department was, quote, entrusted with a historic piece of steel from one of the Twin Towers destroyed on 9/11. So they're not going to just go whipping that thing around.
I'm sorry, did you say tridents?
That's what it says.
Like Poseidon?
I believe that's what...
What does that have to do with September 11th?
I don't know.
It doesn't make
There's a
any
picture of the
sense at
beam.
all.
It's so damn spare it's not worth sending from Alex.
Okay.
I also got something. This is from Chris. He says, subject line legal bills. Dan Furers.
Okay. Yeah. Look
Is
at
it funny looking?
the tridents.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Yeah,
But they're
sure.
just-
Why not? I have no
Why?
idea why, but why not?
Since you are now my employees, I feel like I'm entitled to know when you finally get the legal fees paid for. Will you let us know once the bills are finally paid? More Blake from Chris.
My friend who has a Brunig bent about him,
What does that mean?
He's awesome.
he was like, I'm going to unionize all of the listeners against you.
Oh.
You saying employee just made me think of, he's like, yeah, you're going to have to pay us. We're going to unionize the whole thing against you.
We're the employee.
Yeah, but he was
He's
like,
not the employee.
well, like,
he's the boss.
currently they're paying us. And he's like, yeah, we're going to unionize against you.
Well, that would be collusion. We need to unionize.
Against them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And demand
I
that
would agree.
a judge should tell him that they need to pay us more.
I would agree. Yeah. But that would take court.
There's the rub.
2 days.
What's 2 days? Oh, okay. We can talk. We'll talk in 2 days. Okay, that's good for email for me.
Yeah. I didn't have.
Now we could go on to Cowboys stuff if you would like.
Sure.
Although I do have. All right, so this today in Twitter. Not only I saw the Richardson City Council is considering asking for a ceasefire in Gaza.
They're mulling it over.
They're discussing it. I do have Micah's mom. That's part of today in Twitter, but
Sure.
I don't know. For some reason, I decided, all right, let me try and figure this out. This whole, damn it, where is it? Oh, this whole Megan Thee Stallion versus Nicki Minaj beef.
Oh, my God. What is happening here?
Don't you sometimes see something and you're like,
How do I unspool this?
well, let me just,
Yeah.
what is it? Why are people talking about it?
Yeah.
Should I be interested? And so I Googled it.
Okay.
And I find one of the top results was the New York Times had an article about it, and I thought, this is where you need to go. Because I love when the New York Times will write about a Trump speech or something.
Yeah.
It'll be like, Mr. Trump appears to have questions about Hillary's involved. And then it's like,
When, like, you see the
She's
video and
fat.
he's like, she's a fat bitch.
yeah. Seem to think the weight fluctuations of
She goes up, she goes down. She's a fat bitch.
who's the one of Miss O'Donnell,
Yeah.
or why he,
Show wasn't funny.
Got no ratings. Fat lady. Yeah.
So at midnight on Friday,
They have to
Megan,
clean it up, I think is what you're saying.
according to the New York Times,
Okay.
at midnight on Friday, Megan Thee Stallion released "Hiss," a 3-minute diss track that comes in hot and gets hotter. The song showcases the rapper in a defiant mode, unleashing bar after bar about her general peerlessness and how the news media uses her name for likes and views. But it was a line just under a minute into the song that touched off 4 days and counting worth of hostilities. Her adversaries, quote, Don't be mad at Megan, she raps. Instead, quote, they're mad at Megan's Law, invoking a 1996 law requiring the registration and public identification of convicted sex offenders. Many interpreted the reference as a dig at Nicki Minaj's husband, Kenneth Petty. Do you know him?
I do know that he's been in trouble. Yeah.
Arrested in 2020 for failing to register as a sex offender in California, Mr. Petty pleaded guilty to attempted rape as a teenager in Queens.
Yeah.
While Ms. Minaj was not mentioned by name, she seemed to take the lines personally. On Monday, she released her own song in response, quote, Bigfoot, in which she makes repeated direct references to Megan Thee Stallion, including, notably,
she got shot in the foot.
Her 2020 assault by the rapper Tory Lanez.
Lanes.
That makes a lot more sense. Who shot her in the foot and is now serving a 10-year prison sentence. Ahead of its release, Ms. Minaj teased the single on X, using an image of a visibly upset Megan Thee Stallion.
Yeah.
So, you want to hear Hiss?
Not really.
And if the beat live, I feel like Mariah Carey. Got these niggas so obsessed. My so famous might get managed by Christian Next. He can't move on, can't let it go.
You want me to let the N-word play?
Whoa. To make money, bitch,
New
come
Jake.
be my hoe. All of you bitches is wig on the Bible. Talking shit for a no can find you. I can never be judged by a bitch that was dancing, making R. Kelly go viral. Hey, I'm sexy as and I'm freaky. Get whoever I want, any meanie. Why the would I stay with a that's weak in the sheets and don't know how to please me? Bodies on bodies on bodies on bodies. Say he fuck Megan and now he the topic. These thinking they lower the value. All this free promo, I'm turning to profit. Hey, when a be kissing and telling. Say he'll play up, but he in his feelings. Bet I won't give up the again. Shit gave it to his friend. These hoes don't be mad at Megan. These hoes mad at Megan's Law. I don't really know what the problem is, but I guarantee y'all don't want me to start.
I will tell you that like low piano beat will get me every time. Like,
what do you
it's
mean?
Super West Coast sounding.
It
You
sounds
love it?
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That low the far left side of the piano is gonna get me every time.
Well, Ms. Minaj responded.
My daughter calls it the scary part.
Ms. Minaj responded, and she also put out an a cappella version.
Your flow is such a bore.
You shouldn't
Drinking
do
a
that.
bottle of Henny through a straw. Bitch, you better stop that dialogue before I hit call and buy your catalog. Sigh. How you f***ing mother man when she die? How you gonna get a king and can't cry?
All right.
Shy. Bye.
I'm out.
Big foot, but you still a small fry. Swearing on your dead mother when you lie. Hey yo, this little begging whore talking about Megan's Law. For a free beat, you can hit Megan Raw. If you a ghostwriter, party in Megan Jaw. Shots
right.
thrown, but I still ain't let
I'm gonna
Megan.
jump
Bad
on
bitch,
this
she
one,
like 6 foot. I call her Bigfoot. The
is the
bitch
worst thing
fell
I've
off.
ever
I
heard
said,
in my
get
life.
it on your good foot.
So,
So
you have
Jake is clearly team Megan Thee Stallion.
I'm team beat.
now as far as
And team beat my meat.
whose side is the internet on, asked the New York Times. It's safe to say that the most ardently committed barbs, as
like
Miss Minaj's fans are known, remain squarely in her camp. But even some longtime supporters of Miss Minaj may have been put off by an extended riff in Bigfoot, you may have heard it,
Yeah.
about a, quote, dead mama, given the death of Megan Thee Stallion's mother in 2019.
Ooh, yeah.
Low blow.
So there you have it.
Now I'm up to speed.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now you know if you're seeing headlines like, what is this? And you've found the answer to should I be concerned about this?
Yeah, no.
The answer, the answer clearly seems to be no. We should just ignore that. But thank you, New York Times.
Both very talented, beautiful women, but beautiful women. But yeah, no, I don't care about that.
That's not your bit.
Yeah, in a weird way, like it's been a while. Like 50 Cent kind of tried to have the game killed outside of Hot 97.
Okay.
That's like the last big beef I remember, and that was like 18 years ago, 19 years ago.
I think Drake and Meek Mill tried. like 2015.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that push, but they didn't like. You're right. Yeah, the push Drake this is to me like a top 5 song of all time.
Yeah, and then Drake came out with Back to Back.
Yeah, I was just like, come
Yeah.
on, dude, what are you doing?
How about a little of this?
How about it?
From the wonderful world of sports, Radio Sports Scoreboard.
See, now perhaps you've skipped ahead in this podcast world because you read Blake's little description that we broke down Megan Thee Stallion versus Nicki Minaj. And
Just because there's 2 E's, you don't have to keep saying it that way.
The
Megan Thee Stallion.
I don't. Whatever.
I believe I read the phonetic.
Okay.
What does she want? That's what I'm concerned
That's what
with.
you just want to respect her.
That's right. She's an artist. So I got a couple things for you. One,
Pro Bowl preview.
No Dak.
No Dak.
why?
Doesn't want to.
Don't want to do it.
You didn't see who replaced him?
No. Baker?
Bake show.
Okay. He just doesn't feel like it?
I guess.
No injury. Just decided to opt out.
Doesn't want it.
He kind of did that after the final game of this regular season, didn't
There
he?
he is, folks.
Yeah.
But Baker, I mean, free agent to Pro Bowl and won't get comeback player of the year. Can you believe it?
He should fake his own death at the Pro Bowl.
And you know who will save him? It's got to be the Pro Bowl trainer.
Gotta be.
Got to be that guy from the Bills.
Yeah.
So, did you see the BYU student section had horns down T-shirts, and they made them remove them before their game against Texas? And then the BYU coach of the basketball team. If you were saying, how could you guys talk a little BYU basketball? Well, here it is.
Okay.
So then the coach in the post-game press conference, they're talking about this and that, and then he had something else to say.
That's just not us. That's not how we roll, and it was just a miscalculation on just a couple eager kids, which we love the eagerness of these fans, but it's not what we do here. So we love all 18,000 people in this gym. They were incredible tonight, and just so you know, that's not something that we're supporting. Okay.
So I had someone said to me, "What's going to happen when they go to Tech? Like, aren't they? Isn't this just feeding? Like,
well, I think
it's
that
a
actually
horns down thing.
I think that actually works both ways.
What do you mean?
Because I think what's going to happen when they go to Tech? You're talking about BYU?
No,
Texas. What I'm saying is what's going to happen when they go to Alabama or LSU?
I mean, well, I just
Or-
picked Tech because that's always a place where they're ready to throw tortillas at you and really.
Yeah, dude. And Tech is like probably the most hardcore fan base in the South outside of the SEC. But Texas is not ready for the SEC. Dude, that is a different beast.
Like they're
Well, you're playing
poisoning
in
trees.
You're
They're
playing
poisoning.
in Ames, Iowa.
Aren't they poisoning 100-year-old trees?
You're playing in Stillwater.
Jack Trice is fine.
Okay.
Boone Pickens is a great
Yeah, well
stadium.
now you're in Death Valley, and now you're in Alabama, and now you're in Starkville.
where they sing Nick.
Dude, they are going to get smacked in the effing mouth. They are not ready for that.
I love it.
That is very, very different than going to play in Manhattanville, Kansas.
Okay, Bill Snyder Memorial Stadium
No,
has a
Blake.
pretty good atmosphere.
It's straight old whites.
I have enjoyed this because the first thing that started it was UCF's basketball team,
Yeah.
and now BYU, and it's like the new people in the Big 12 kind of want to get in on it too while
Yeah.
they can. Oh,
While,
look at
while
this.
you're here, yeah.
That was the horns down in the handshake line or something?
That was UCF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when we
And
played
then-
Rodney Terry last week. So it's BYU, UCF, Houston, and who's the fourth one?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
But yeah, Texas is a soft ass school, and they're going to get punched in the mouth next year in every sport. because their fans are entitled, and they are not about that life.
In other news, Sharice Parsons is a person that you've never heard of before. Well, you probably heard a little bit about her. It's Micah's mom.
Yeah.
Didn't he live with her, and then he bought a house next door to her so she could still
something like
cook
that,
for
yeah.
him or something?
Yeah.
Well, she was mad at Jesse Holly.
Blocked me on Twitter.
Jesse Holly did?
Yeah.
Aw.
It was unfortunate.
Nice guy like you?
I didn't even do anything wrong, to be honest with you. Just like at the flag football game the other day.
Yeah, you never do.
He made a joke about Romo's face whenever he was dressed in a Mavs uniform. And Romo had a really surprised look on his face. And Jesse Holly's tweet was, "When you put it in her hair."
Damn.
Yeah. And I retweeted it and was like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever seen."
I was going to say, that's great stuff. Why would he block you?
Don't know. But it was like Romo looking shocked.
That's
And it just said, "When you put it in her hair."
that's
like, I've never done that, but I imagine that's what my face would look like.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesse Holly said, Micah Parsons to me is probably the most selfish player on this football team. One of the reasons why Micah does not want to play linebacker, it's too much of a responsibility.
Okay.
That's a bad take.
That's a horrible take. Then coming off the edge 45 times a game. That's the hardest thing in all of pro sports outside of playing quarterback. It's a horrible opinion.
And I guess she did this maybe on Facebook?
I would imagine so, yeah.
Because it's a mom?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I believe that's where CD's mom was authoring her takes.
But the way we found out about it was because Terrence Parsons took a screenshot and put it on Twitter.
Great.
And he says, when my mom's got to come say something, that's how you know you all dead wrong. I couldn't have said it better myself. So basically she's saying, how can you assume something with someone you've never talked with? Micah wants to play DE and LB. He's how often has he said he wants to be the chess piece? We have the defensive line over for dinner.
God, I hate this team so much.
She says the chef cooks help build Commodore in the defense. They do a D-line dinner every Thursday. Is she saying camaraderie? Is that what we're trying to get
camaraderie is probably, yeah. Commodore, yeah. It's like when you – have you ever searched an alternate spelling of lactose intolerant on Twitter?
I just remembered what I wanted to say about
I was wondering when it would come back.
Duolingo.
Okay.
Okay.
Because of the I'm not learning as much because of my iPhone. It'll fill in things for you.
Okay.
So as I'm typing the first three letters of vestido or whatever the word is, it'll finish it out for me and put the accents on for me. And I'm like, I'm not really learning here because I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
All right. For me. I remembered something.
Anyways, there are a lot of people who probably think that the word for camaraderie is Commodore.
How many times have they shown him on the sidelines assisting other players? Or they went to the boxing gym together?
Oh, by the way, I was going to tell you, I raw dogged some Pure Pump on Sunday and I threw up.
What does that mean?
Jake took a pre-workout.
Oh, and you threw up?
Yeah.
During the game?
After. I've never done it before.
So the dry powder?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Why would you do that? You already know this is bad.
Running on pre-workout's bad.
Yeah. I wanted to get amped up.
But you've been reading about Micah Parsons couldn't
I didn't throw up
take it.
until after the game.
Huh?
I didn't throw up until after the game.
But I'm just saying, it's a very public
but
story.
I literally almost called you.
That one of the great athletes in your city.
I threw up on the door of my car. like on the way home.
So
And
you're in the
weird-
car and you leaned out?
Yeah. And like 3 other dudes on the team did the same thing.
No, you don't run after you take pre-workout.
You definitely don't run after you raw dog it. Sorry.
What are we going to do with this guy?
Yeah. It was a Micah story.
Anyway,
it's
she
really
defends
weird.
Micah for like seven
Posts.
paragraphs that are all just
Yeah.
mashed together, and then admonishes Jesse Holly.
Yeah, and I don't, the weird thing about it is like the debate I have with myself is always like, are we too close to where the sausage is made? Like, does this happen to every team?
Mm-hmm.
But I really don't think it does. Like to have your 3 best players all have 1 or 2 family members who are just sounding off nonstop whenever things go poorly. Like, I really don't think that's common.
So this Jesse Holly take was on Facebook?
I
It was
don't
probably
know.
like something he said on Twitter or the radio, and then she replied on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay.
It got aggregated. It
Yeah.
got thrown around.
He likes saying that.
Do I? Have I said that a lot?
No, I'm just saying that time you liked saying that.
Oh. That's weird.
But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how normal it is to have your top quarterback, pass rusher, and receiver have at least one family member that's like, this team sucks. It doesn't seem normal.
Oh, yeah, I
to
forgot
me.
CD got into it this year.
His mom.
Yeah, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got Dak's brother.
Yep. Tad.
Not his mom.
Nope.
You've got CD's mom, and you've got Parsons' brother and mom. And that's easily the 3 most high-profile players on the team.
Yeah.
It's just, it's silly.
Yeah, but if Malik Hooker's mom had an opinion, you probably wouldn't care.
No, I wouldn't, but that's what I'm saying.
That's
though.
the point. Yeah.
that's the
When
exact
it's your
point.
highest profile guys, you care a lot.
That's the 3 most famous players. That's 3 of
They're the
probably
ones
the
who
most
should be
15
sitting
most
back.
famous players in the NFL.
They're the ones who should be saying, look, he makes $50 million a year. He makes whatever a year.
But to your
I'm going to just collect my check for being his friend.
But to your point from earlier, I'm sure some guy on the Jaguars' mom does the same thing, but nobody cares. I'm sure this happens.
I wonder if
I bet Trevor Lawrence's mom doesn't.
I wonder if he makes $30 million a year.
Zach Wilson's mom does.
Helps this. Like I really need to defend him to make sure I get my cut of that $30 million a year every time.
Like you're using like insurgents.
It's just I know if I
don't
know you
dude.
make $30 million a year and I see someone coming after you on Twitter, I'm going to go after them. Like, hey Jake, you see me supporting you, don't you? You remember?
I would say
like I've been there with you the whole time.
Tag him in the tweet.
I
Jake.
hate to like scale this down to
And
like
tag
a
the Cowboys, too.
0.01% of like my life. But when my brother has like gone back at people who have been critical of me, I'm like, dude, don't do that.
Right.
Like, that doesn't help me at all. And it's not like he's looking for like a financial incentive or
No,
anything.
he's just got high tea.
He's just got IT. Exactly. But I still feel like you just want less noise, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like less noise helps you do your job better. And that is not what the Cowboys have right now.
Speaking of that, I pulled some Dan Campbell from his post-game press conference after the 49ers game. And, he's just talking about how Detroit got to the NFC Championship game, and a lot of people were asking him to just reflect on what they were able to do. And here he talks about how this year's team was able to accomplish what they accomplished, something that no Lions team has been able to in a long time. And I feel like what he is talking about is the antithesis of the Cowboys and how they go about it. So he's just saying, like, because people were quick to say, hey, I bet your goal next year is to get back to the championship game. And he's like, no, every season is different.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Everything that
Makes me sad.
I'm a firm believer in everything's got to be right. And everybody just thinks that it's just talent or it's just coachability. And, the more talent you get and the better coaches or the more well-known, then you're just automatically going to be good. And that's not the truth at all. It's not. Does it help? Yeah, it helps as long as they are compatible and there is a chemistry. and there's teamwork, and there's an unselfishness, and you leave the egos at home, and that's hard. It's hard to do that, and so you set it up. Well, now it's just going to look different, and it's got to be right again. It's got to be right. Some of the players, potentially some of the coaches, man, we've got to start over, and we got to find the right mix, the right balance, and it's got to be right. Because otherwise, you don't. I'm a firm believer. You don't have a chance if it's not. You'll become average quickly.
Damn.
And I feel like the Cowboys do that where we won the division last year. We made it to the second round. All right, next year it's NFC Championship.
Next step.
Yeah, it's always what's next. It's the big picture. And this guy immediately coming off where he was a half away from the Super Bowl says, all right, we got to completely restart because everything's going to be different.
You know, I knew it. I had a friend once who was a coach. I haven't talked to him in a long time, but he would tell me that he actually liked this part. Like, the thing that we do, we just do the next day. But there's really no, like, restart and end point, you know? And he was like, I remember talking to him, it was probably 10 years ago, but he was like, I really like the part where we have, like, a starting point and an end point, and then we start over again. Like, that helps me, like, organize my thoughts in my life of, like, how we're going to proceed forward. And he knew what I was doing at that time, and he was like, you just kind of do the same thing. He's like, there's really not – I mean, we talk about, like, oh, football season's over, like, how are we going to do the show differently? But for the most part, like, I think that's a cool part of that job. It would also be, like, it's very roller coaster, you know? There's a lot of lows, a lot of highs, but –
it's like training for one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would imagine maybe Olympics or something.
Yeah.
But my analogy would always be when we would have to memorize a song for ticket stock or something.
Yeah, you build stuff up like that. Yeah.
Because
like,
it became my focus for a month or two beforehand.
Sure.
And I'm practicing every day. I'm starting, with, I'll do silly things like I'll record the song in 3 different parts and then so I can just listen to that part in my car and sing along with it.
Oh, I've pulled up next to you before.
Part 3, I'm just doing part 3 this week.
Yeah.
And so I can try and get it all down, and then first you have to learn the real song, and then you got to write the parody song, but then once you get there, and then you go and you perform, and maybe you do well, maybe you screw up a line, and then you're pissed, but going to sleep that night when we get home from ticket stock, I'm always like, wow, what now? Like.
I mean, I've told the story 100 times.
What now? Oh.
Me walking out from
boxing?
fight night with you, yeah. And you were like, what are you going to do tomorrow?
Yeah, because as far as radio.
I was like, well,
that was great
I
for
haven't
today.
thought about it.
But you were training hard for that moment, and now it's like, yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, no, I mean,
and
I wish he was
our
coach.
Yeah, that's a weird.
The way he talks
must
is
be
just,
a weird but good feeling, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I
think
wonder how, if that's like school teaching or, at least you have a season. You have
right.
Now I have time off.
Right.
I mean, I go back to Friday Night Lights when they're taking the names off the board.
I guess we have that every week. It's called 1 week.
Yeah, but I mean, that's just a job, Dan. Yeah. I think everybody experiences that.
I suppose most people don't have the start.
Well, it kind of depends on
most people
some people have like a project-based job. Where you like spend 2 or 3 months on something and then you wrap it up and then it ramps down. Whereas sports is like the ultimate example of that. And yeah, he's right. I mean,
so are we saying our job is tougher than Dan Campbell's?
We're heroes.
Yeah, because we're always working.
But
it does suck though. I mean, they're going to lose Ben Johnson, right? Maybe not.
Not looking that way.
Why? Who's Washington getting?
Ben Johnson just told Seattle and Washington he's staying put.
I did not know that. I knew Kellen left, but...
Well, I think he's got the ability to pick his job, kind of, at least now.
Yeah.
And Dan Quinn might tell him, you might want to strike while the iron's hot because you might not be hot next year. But that's pretty smart to go into I suppose Washington would give him a lot. But they don't have, the thought is you want to have like a good quarterback in place, Like Harbaugh picking the Chargers.
Choice.
He's already got a young, good quarterback, and
Yeah.
now he just gets to build the rest around him.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get Washington,
You
what do you
are
got, Sam Howell?
from the studs, ground up.
You have
And
who
you don't
get
have
in
a
the
top
draft.
3 pick?
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
But just the fundamental point of this is I feel like the Cowboys say, all right, we're going to add Mozzie Smith, dust some things up here, and then we're good to go. We're right
Just
back where we were.
Stack up on top of where we were.
Yeah, and then he's saying, like, it's much more than just talent. It's just an overall team chemistry. And I don't think the Cowboys are doing that. I think Dak is worried about his extension. Micah's worried about his money. CD is worried about getting paid. And they're all kind of self-centered in that. At least that's the vibe on the outside I get. The Lions were a much more cohesive football team than the Cowboys were. And I think that really helped the Lions.
Yeah, that's interesting. It certainly is more than talent. But I think talent still is the number one.
Well,
it's still the number one, but think about the games you watched after Dallas got eliminated. I know that you guys give me crap about being obsessed with Philadelphia at times, but just so many of those teams just seem so badass. Like Baltimore, Kansas City. Kansas City's defense is just stupid. Even Buffalo, Detroit, obviously. It's just I'm just kind of tired of being a fan of the team that is just kind of there.
But I think Dallas has.
They don't do much.
Dallas has more talent on defense than any of those teams.
They might have more talent on offense than most of those teams outside of Kansas City at the quarterback position. But, they just are boring.
The Cowboys?
Yeah. They're just a boring, vacuous, empty suit. And, once you get to the round of 8 and the round of 4, you have teams that you're like, man, that's badass. That's cool. I want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I still think a lot of it has to do with the overall that they are the Cowboys and they are bigger than life and they are.
I hate it, dude. I wish I was from somewhere else.
Like Troy would talk about guys walking, through a nightclub to get to the field. It's just.
I hate it.
Really weird.
There's a fireball shot.
We've talked many times the
country club.
But what's at the Star? The place where you can meet with investors.
Yeah. Sell your sunglasses.
Just a lot more than football.
Yeah, I hate it.
I saw that yesterday at the Star during the Shrine Bowl practice. There are business meetings going around, all around the the glass. You could see inside the offices.
I hate it.
It's a place to merge business and football.
I wish I was from Baltimore, Buffalo, Philadelphia, Detroit.
And it's the message you send to the players the second they get drafted.
Of course.
Is that you're here for more than football. You're here for your brand. You're here for our brand. You're here. We're doing a lot of different things.
I hate it.
Back to the talent thing for a moment. Because I love Dan Campbell. I love everything he's saying there. But I also got to thinking, I saw somebody say they were putting out, now that Raheem Morris got hired as the head coach in Atlanta, they were putting out the Washington Redskins coaching staff of 2013.
Oh, no.
Had Raheem Morris was an assistant, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDaniel, Sean McVay, Matt LaFleur were all assistants on that team.
Is there not another?
Those are all the head coaches.
Oh, okay.
Who were assistants.
Okay.
I think the Titans' new offensive coordinator might have been there as well.
Yeah, I was going to say there was at least one more that got hired as a coordinator. Yeah.
But those are head coaches currently.
Yeah.
And they're all on that 2013 staff. And the Redskins went 3-13. And the impetus behind this tweet was that Dan Snyder really sucked. My takeaway would be, you could have all the greatest coaches in the world, but if you just don't have good players, it really doesn't matter.
Who was the head coach? Mike Shanahan?
Look at Pop. Was it Mike Shanahan?
I think that's right.
Like Popovich.
Yeah.
Obviously thought of as a great head coach. We never saw Phil Jackson would have been with a crappy roster.
I think the argument is that much like with the Browns and Belichick, you're saying, should we have been able to identify one of these talents as like the next guy that could possibly, because they're all really good coaches. Like, could we identify McDaniel, McVay, whatever, and like replace Mike Shanahan with one of them and see if they could build from there? But yes, it's if your quarterback is JP Lossman or whoever it was. I mean, I guess they had RG3 for a year, basically. You're going to suck. But also, we know like a ton about the way that organization was run, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just a complete joke.
And Dan Campbell said it's more than talent.
Yeah.
But it does make me sad just to see Dan Campbell.
Yeah, that sucked.
But, just like a lot of these guys across the league, put them in the Cowboys situation, and it's not like they can do their thing.
No,
because Jerry's
definitely
going
not.
to be heavily involved. Jerry's,
Yeah, he's going to be in the meeting with Yodeling Kid.
I'll bet Dan Campbell had a great deal of say in making sure they drafted, a lineman.
Yeah, for sure. Penei Sewell or Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, that's not a pick I would have made, but
no, they were
I
mocked.
promise you Dan Campbell was behind that.
They went running back, linebacker with their first 2 picks.
Run
in
and
the
hit
first
linebacker.
round. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were heavily mocked on draft day.
Yeah, and both those guys played, by the roughly midway point of the year, a pretty big role in their season. So, but that's what I'm saying, though. That's what's different about being a fan of the Cowboys, and that's why I hate it. Like, we could never have, not only could we never have a Dan Campbell, we could never have a Mike McDaniel. We could never have, like, the innovative, cool, this guy does weird stuff guy. We could never have the strong-willed, headstrong guy. We have to get a puppet. And that's it.
A big old boy.
Yeah. My basketball team sucks.
Oh, my God.
They rallied.
They did rally, but their coach sucks. I don't even know who owns the team. The football team sucks.
Rangers won the World Series.
Yeah.
That's right. But they're not.
They're robots. They're not fun.
We won the XFL or whatever.
Yeah.
Did we?
Renegades. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Oh. Stars are pretty good.
You got the East-West Shrine game.
Dan, tell me what you know about the Stars right now.
Playing real well.
Pretty well?
I
You
like
think so?
I like the way some of the youth is coming together.
You think so?
Yeah.
Specifically, like who?
I'd like to see Ottinger do a little better.
Yeah, he's been hurt.
Okay. I'd like to see him get better.
Yeah.
Get
better
well soon.
Get well soon.
Thoughts and prayers for Ottinger. Really, it's tough with not Ottinger in net.
Yep.
It is tough. Yeah.
This effing Bally situation,
Totally.
I would love to be
that's
able
the
to-
thing.
I would
you
love
know?
to be able to
Otherwise,
watch
you'd be
the
locked
Stars.
in.
More Dan Campbell or no?
Last thing. Just because we've kind of talked about Micah knowing this, Micah will have just all the information on the game that just happened right as he's about to play.
A little bit like everybody else who didn't make it, and everybody else who lost. Unless you're San Francisco and who won the other one, I don't even know. KC, then you got a pretty bad taste in your mouth.
He had no idea who won the other game.
I don't know if I buy that. Maybe.
I think he was just really locked in.
If I could buy it from anyone, I would buy it from him. But yes, as you're alluding to, we've played audio of Micah talking about right before I took the field, I was watching the first half of whatever other game.
And then 2 days after the game, he's doing a podcast where he's
breaking down
handing
the
out
whole league.
Big Dog
Yeah,
Awards.
Big Dog of the Week.
Whatever. There's just a different mentality in Detroit than there is here.
Don't take Micah's podcast from us. I love that.
I think it's telling of why Dallas will never do anything.
Well, I think it's part of the everybody gets a radio show. Everybody, it's that everything. It's because Jerry's the only guy with Super Bowls, and so he acts like that's our thing.
Yeah,
we win Super Bowls. So everybody should be treated as if you're a Super Bowl contender / victor, because I am, and everybody gets treated like that. That's why people love playing for the Cowboys, man.
Yeah, I mean, we've, a couple weeks ago when we were talking to Nathan and Scott Chandler, and Scott was like, I mean, they make you feel like the best.
Yeah, Jerry talked to Scott Chandler.
He's like, he remembered my name. I was a practice squad player, and he remembered everything about me, and, there's something to that.
The Jalen Smith, hey, go ahead, let's do your sunglasses deal here.
Yep.
Let's.
It's just when you
let's
run.
Pay you too much, pay you ahead of time.
Pay you too much, pay you too early, and that's great. But there is something about running into one of these other teams that will just punch you in the balls.
Well, that's the thing, and I think that is part of the. It's clear that it's a business for everybody, and everybody wants to market. But somehow Shanahan can develop these teams that are tough, that are physical. And I think it has to do with they create an atmosphere that this is all about football. When you're coming to work, it is football. And I guarantee Dan Campbell's like that they don't want any of the other garbage. If you got hangers on, if you got this or that,
Prince Bandar.
There's time for that, but it's not here. This is the place that we are dedicated to football. And then if you do really well, you get all that other stuff and your outside time. But the thing is, when you are drafted as a Cowboy, you now get all that other stuff. As they told Dak, this is why you don't have to get as much money when you're re-upping, because you're a Cowboy, so you can get because you're a Cowboy quarterback, if your numbers are less than the Jaguars quarterback, you're going to get more endorsements because you're the Cowboy quarterback. Well, that's a positive in a way, but not for being good at football. That is then a distraction for being good at, because you're now kind of concerned about that as well.
Yeah, the main
it does suck.
The main thing to me is just it's really weird that they haven't been able to, because I know that Dak and CD work the Dak yard, right? We talk about that a lot. They were great this year. It's just really weird to me that even with a bad MFer like Micah on the edge, they haven't been able to cultivate a tough team. And in some way, we talked about this with Matt last week about Detroit, it's weird to me that Pittsburgh seems so Pittsburgh. And Detroit now seems so Detroit. San Francisco's a little bit of an outlier. But it's just weird to me that, I've never been able to root for a team in Dallas that seems tough. And Dallas is not a tough city. Dallas is it's an empty suit. And
it's a strip mall.
Exactly. We are the strip mall of the NFL. And that's how it feels. It's weird. There are other teams, you see it in college football for sure. Conference-wise, you can see, all right, this area plays this brand of ball.
Yeah, the Big Ten.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But Dallas just plays like Dallas. And it's really, really frustrating to me.
Flashy, mirrored.
Yeah, a lot of numbers.
Win every game at home, and you only beat bad opponents.
Yeah, put up a bunch of stats. Looks good on paper. Not going to be there when it comes to nut-cutting time.
Always 3 or 4 of the top fantasy players.
Of course. Jersey sales.
Always in the top of jersey sales.
Yeah.
Primetime games.
Yeah, but it just...
Always discussed by all the shows.
I don't know. I know that's, extremely... for someone like myself who likes, analytics, that's highly subjective. But
it feels like that's the only answer you can have now.
Yeah.
After 30 years.
Yeah. It's just weird. I don't know. I wish I was from somewhere else.
Well, I'm from somewhere where nothing was given. That's why I have this attitude.
You're not from Northeast Ohio.
Where do you think I'm from?
You sound like a kid that went to ski club.
on a tiny hill with dirt.
Little ski club bitch.
We had to ski with the rocks and glass. It was.
I'm
like a
uphill both ways.
I'm like a shortstop who hails from San Pedro de Macorís.
Right, glass in the
uh,
infield.
Yeah, like that. That was rough.
Dude, he went to ski club.
All right.
You're a Boston Hills bitch.
We're done.
So this team's going to be built on, we're going to kick you in the teeth, all right? And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off, all right? And we're going to stand up. And then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down, all right? And on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap, and we're going to get up. And then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down. And when we do, we're going to take another hunk out of you. Before long, we're going to be the last one standing, all right? That's going to be the mentality.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
Anything from collarbones up, fat.
Jeez.
If her first picture is a group photo, she's the ugly one. Oh, if it's a far away picture, like she's doing something like, oh, look at me, I'm shooting a gun or something, she's ugly. Because hot girls will show off. So yeah, big sunglasses.
That's a no.
You know what's under there.
Your finest work.
No puppet.
I was going to say, just play it.
Thank you.
Your finest work, for sure. You teach us so much, Blake. We lived through you.
I wish you were still single.
I know. That'd be so great.
Probably wouldn't be great for us, like, logistically, but it would be great content-wise.
I wasn't exactly living it up. I mean, Dan thought I was gay.
Dan did think you were gay.
Yeah.
I can't believe you actually told him that.
Still not positive he's not.
You've never seen the
I've heard of the beard.
full penny.
Is that what you need?
Yeah, that's the only way to know. Yeah.
By the way, guys, J.K. Rowling.
What do they call her?
The author of Harry Potter.
Yeah, but what's the word for... Yeah, but the word for people that, like, hate trans people.
Transphobic?
Yeah, but there's, like, a feminist word for, like, I like women, but I don't like trans people.
Pro-Chappelle.
Well, I can't think of it.
Man, I was watching an old Chappelle Letterman.
Oh, my God. Killing it.
Chappelle was on Letterman when he was 22.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't realize the Chappelle origin was... I always think of Eddie Murphy as the guy
18.
I know was on SNL when he was like 19.
Yeah. By the way, I will tell you this. SNL this week was amazing. Did you watch any of that? Like, have you seen any of the clips?
No.
It's actually really good.
Really?
I think I'm back.
Timberlake was on it?
I didn't watch that.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if he did any bits.
I don't even know who the lady who hosted it was. Like, but as a fan of basically just things that make me laugh and don't make me feel bad.
But you watch SNL every week, even if you don't know who it is.
I didn't watch it. They put it up on, every sketch is put up on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, Chappelle definitely was a very early player.
My wife was like, oh, yeah, he was his mom would drop him off at a comedy club when he was like 15 or something. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize. That's incredible just to see. Because I think of Letterman and Chappelle somewhat as contemporaries, but I guess.
Oh, no way.
Letterman is 20 years older than him.
Yeah, no way. Chappelle's like my age, maybe like 5-6 years older.
He's 50.
50? Okay.
He said it in his comedy special.
Well, I'm pretty old.
Yeah.
As the dad on that flag football sideline informed me yesterday.
J.K. Rowling has come out in support of Nicki Minaj. If you were wondering.
Yeah, which side of the beef? Yeah. Okay, my bad. Yeah.
So put her on that. Now.
Turf.
We will still have to check in with
That's
her
the
later.
word, right? Turf. Trans exclusion radical feminist.
A lot of
Are you
that's what
looking it
they
up?
want.
Yeah.
Are you looking it up?
TERF. Yeah.
Yeah. Am
That's
I
what
right?
they want. They want to.
Yeah.
They want us all to be fighting.
Yeah.
So that we don't really look at the
economy,
the 1% that's actually running everything.
The bankers, the
they
1%.
like us. They want us to fight amongst our groups. It's working perfectly for them.
My Bernie impression is basically just a racist Jewish impression.
Okay.
The bankers, the 1%.
Jake will do anything now.
They are stealing from you.
Jake's like those girls you won't click on their profile. He'll do anything for your love. Now that we're free.
I don't think either one of us know what you're talking about.
Well, that's because you guys.
That dog's going to work, though.
You guys hooked up with everybody. I only got the ones. Anyway.
He only had leather.
He only had leather skin. That's right.
That's right. I also got a text there during the break from one Adam Romo.
Oh, good. Elephantitis?
Who sent us, yes, indeed, Eatsy's does have their football menu that you can order from for the Super Bowl. And he said,
hell yeah.
Let me know how many you want to feed, preferences. I will have ample food enough for Jake and Blake to make lunch later. So I believe our Super Bowl party is... I don't even care if anybody else comes.
Times are good.
Yeah, more food for us.
It'll just be us.
Yeah.
And the Soroy twins. And Video Man. If we don't have Video Man, what would the point be?
There's no point, yeah.
I have some other Cowboy stuff I will save for our next program.
Okay.
Do we have any other things we wanted to get to? I know you wanted to do NFL cleanup. Was that what Dan Campbell is?
Yeah, that's what Blake and I talked about this morning is just we wanted to make sure we played the NFL Dan Campbell audio. I mean, I kind of feel like, okay, let me put it this way. It's a really weird thing that they only play 17 games and the ball is oblong. And basically the two teams that you know are going to be in the Super Bowl at the start of the year are just in the Super Bowl.
I mean, it's not...
They don't even play like a 7-game series.
It's not as much as the NBA used to be.
But that's what I'm saying, though, is like in the NBA it almost made sense because you expand the sample size.
Yeah.
So you play like, obviously 82 games. You have to play 4 7-game series to get there.
This is a rarity, don't you think?
It probably is, but I mean, at the start of the year, if you were like, who are the best 2 teams? Well, Kansas City, San Francisco. And then they play 17 games. You get beat the F up. The ball's not round. And then it's just like, oh, yeah, these are just the 2 teams that are going to play in the Super Bowl. It's just weird if you think about it. Like it seems like there should be more randomness to the NFL, but time and time again,
year over year, there kind of is.
Kansas City's been here 4 out of 5 years.
Okay, then
San Francisco's been out of like 5 out of 7 NFC championships.
You're hurting my point.
Yeah, like that doesn't make it should not make sense. Like baseball,
in a league that's basic thing is trying for parity.
Yeah,
to make everybody equal.
Yeah, and like the games are competitive throughout the year. They're outside of Cowboy games, not that many blowouts. But then it's just the same 2 badass run organizations. And even like the fact that Baltimore was right there. Like it's just the best organizations just keep showing up in the same place all the time. And that to me is, again, disappointing because I'm not a fan of one of those teams. But it is.
Isn't it more disappointing when a 6 seed makes it to the Super Bowl? Then it's like, well, this isn't the best team.
Yeah, but I mean, how often is that? I mean, that happens sometimes, but also like
it feels like more often, at least in the last 20 years.
But think about it this way.
Although New England
6 seed way more likely to be just like a random thing that happened in the NFL than in the NBA. Like if you play 82 games, probably the 3rd seed is better than the 6 seed. Okay. Whereas in the NFL, like you could just be like a game apart. 2 games apart.
I feel like college basketball helps us too. You play a 30-game season, and the ones are, I don't think it's rare, but it's not a shoe-in. I mean, we see 10 seeds, 9 seeds make runs all the time.
Yeah, but yes, for sure. in single elimination games,
Yeah.
you can work that out. But I don't know. It just feels like at the start of the year, you're like, anything could happen. You're like, no, I can't. It's just going to be the Chiefs and the 49ers.
Yeah, and then the Chiefs receivers start dropping passes. There's this Taylor
Yelling
Swift
at each
effect,
other.
and then Brock Purdy's not good without deep. It's like a mirage.
Right. They lost three in a row, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's like, no.
It's
They're
the
good.
same ending. And this should have been the Super Bowl last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. As the years gone by, we had the Rams-Bengals. That kind of popped up out of nowhere.
The Rams had been there 3 years ago.
Well, I'm saying that's what I'm talking about 3 years ago. I'm looking at Super Bowls from the past few years.
But the Rams had been there against the Patriots, I'm saying. So that's not exactly like an upstart, you know?
I guess they were, but with a different quarterback.
Yeah, but still, same coach, same
yeah.
GM, less need.
Yeah.
The Bengals, yeah, that was a bit of an upstart. But for the most part, it's just like at the start of the year, the team that you think is going to win. And it's not going to be the Cowboys.
Yeah, I guess that's the main thing you do.
That is the one thing you can bank on.
Want to do the news?
Sure.
Yeah.
Here's
Why'd you ask him?
With the Dumb Zone News.
Because I got to write the timestamp.
He doesn't say.
You're the newsman? Okay.
North Texas man sentenced to federal prison for child porn after messaging a 14-year-old boy on Snapchat.
Oh, those aren't private?
They do disappear right away, don't they? I thought that's part of the allure of Snapchat.
Well,
thought it was.
What this made me think about was,
and you could
should
tell
I put
if
my
somebody
feet down,
does
video man?
You could tell if somebody does a screenshot, right?
Yep.
Can I put my feet up here? Okay.
Jake is such a prima donna.
I know. How's this going to make me look on camera?
You guys suck. You know what this made me think of? A lot of people talk about like the Chris Hansen angle of To Catch a Predator. But the part that I found the most interesting about that show was the like the people who would pose as kids. There was one woman in particular, I can't remember her name, somebody will tell us. And that was like her whole bit. Like she would just spend all day acting as a child on the internet, like baiting people.
Was it the same? Because didn't they have someone actually in the house that kind of looked pretty young?
Yeah.
Was it the same person, or could you be the pose as kids guy? And do you have to have teenage daughters so you kind of know what's going on in that world?
What was her name? I'm gonna figure it out. No, it was different. It was different people.
Okay.
Like the person
You
who
get
was
an
typing
actor.
was like an adult. The person who was in the house was definitely like young. I mean, you have to have like a physical appearance, you know?
Yeah.
Do you remember?
But it'd be hard to find one that fit both.
Yeah, it would be. Do you remember how that show ended? Or at least like one of the primary impetuses
Impeti
of it ending?
Was it in Prosper? Like a guy killed himself or something?
Yeah.
When the police...
He was a judge.
Oh.
Yeah.
So was it there, like in the front yard while the cameras are there? Or did he get caught, released, and then...
They were coming into the house. Like they were busting down the door, and he just suied.
That would do it.
What do you mean?
If you said, yeah, I would never take my own life, but then what if you were being closed in on by Chris Hansen, you knew they got me. You're a judge, so you kind of know real quickly, I can do the calculations here.
How's this going to go for me? Bill Conrad.
And did he, like, bring a gun to every one of his encounters thinking, if this is law enforcement, I'll just be ready to kill myself.
I'm
But
pretty sure
it's
they
worth
were
the risk. The risk-reward, this is great. It could be a 12-year-old.
I'm fairly certain they were at his house.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like they had baited him. You know, his name was Bill Conrad, and it was in Murphy, Texas, which is in Collin County.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Are you a Murphy?
It's very close. That's, where my kid goes to daycare.
So back when we were looking to move out here, or we were just looking to move from Dallas, get a little more price per square foot, better price per square foot. D Magazine had their 10 best places to live in DFW, and Murphy was number 1. So we went and hit all of the 10 best places to live just to see, should we live here? We went to Murphy. And, well, we obviously didn't stay there, didn't end up living there.
Not enough trees.
It seemed way out there.
It is.
Yeah.
And probably back then there was no George Bush, so I'm sure it was hard to get to Dallas.
There
so
was
no 9/11.
We went to Waxahachie too. That was on the list.
Nothing for that, Blake?
Well, I mean, okay.
Jesus Christ. I can't buy a...
I don't think there's a connection between 9/11 and the George Bush Turnpike.
But George Bush did 9/11.
Oh, okay. You're Oh, gotcha.
I can't buy one today, dude. Like, nothing is coming off the bat for me. Like, at all.
Yeah, your BAPIP.
But you look good on camera.
Your BAPIP's low.
Jesus Christ. Anyways.
I like your Dwayne Caraway.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Murphy just got a Pizza Inn.
They're opening new Pizza Inns?
Yeah, they just opened one.
Dude, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, actually, I'm going to think about it tomorrow when we are sort of but not doing a show.
Yeah. It's Business Wednesday tomorrow.
Dude, there's a Pizza Hut by me that has 11 to 1 buffet. And, like, that feels like the best day of my life. No problem.
So it's only from 11 to 1?
Yeah.
That makes sense. Make sure the pizza's hot and
Yeah.
available between those 2 hours.
Yeah, for sure.
Is Double Dave still around?
I haven't seen one in a minute.
I was big on Double Dave's.
Peppy rolls?
You just go up there, tell them I need this made, and they'd make one.
Yeah. That's how most restaurants that make pizza.
Does CC's do that?
Yeah.
In fact, all restaurants.
Yeah.
All right,
You
well,
just
never
kind of
mind.
tell them what you want and they
But
make
the
it.
Double Dave's.
That's
all right. I'm going to sit out.
You know, I'm tired of these restaurants where you can't tell them
Make
what
stuff.
you want to eat.
Well, you can't walk up to any buffet and they'll just make anything. It's kind of like what's at the buffet. All right, I'll stop.
Jesus. So we never actually really talked about this too in depth, but Atmos Energy is taking legal action against... Atmos.
Isn't that what he used to call it, Atmos?
I was right.
It's Atmos.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Atmos Energy takes legal action against Sandman Hotel over explosion liability. We never really covered this story. I think it was because it was a day that we had a bunch of other stuff going on, and then, I don't know, Blake had something hilarious. But that was a crazy situation, dude. And they are now, Atmos is like, it ain't us. And again, the Sandman is owned by Tom Gallardi.
So they're still trying to figure out the cause?
Well, they've been named in several lawsuits filed by people injured.
Atmos?
Yeah. So they're like countersuing now to be like,
Countersuing?
Yeah.
I'm somewhat familiar. I'll tell you about it
2 days from now?
Next show.
Yeah. 21 people injured in the blast. And I can't remember if we talked about this specifically, but my cousin is a manager there. And that was like his one day off because it was a Monday. You know, I think that's pretty common for hotel people. You got to work the weekend. Monday's your slow day. So he was off that one day. And, yeah, I called him the second I saw that it had happened, and he was like very shook up. And was like, I don't even know what's going on.
Why is he shook up? He wasn't even there.
Yeah, I mean, it's his team, you know? Hypothetically,
yeah, if Jake was an
if you find out that Blake and I get blown up and someone calls you, there's no chance you're shook up?
I mean, I didn't experience it. I'd be sad.
This guy is. Blake, I would be.
I'm a man of strength.
I got in a car wreck and you were visibly shaken. And
I was.
That
I thought. I mean, you were very close to death.
meant a lot to me. Yep. Dan was
Like,
there to
where's the
keep
next
us.
15 for 15?
Dan was there to keep us on time. I think we're up against it.
Come on.
But from what I've heard, there's going to be a lot of money paid out by a lot of different companies regarding this thing.
But who? Atmos is saying it's not
Atmos,
us.
Sandman, I don't know. I mean, yeah, they're all going to say it's not them. But
Did
I've
anybody
heard,
die?
No.
Okay.
Which is insane.
So that's pretty good.
21 people put in the hospital. And have you seen the pictures?
No. What's so? What kind of injuries? What's it worth to you?
Dude, the bottom floor of this place and the basement exploded. I don't know how the building didn't come down. And like I said, I was in there. Yeah, show him a picture if you can find it, Blake. I was in there like 2 months before this.
Have we ruled out nefarious doings? Like this was intentional?
Well, I mean, I don't know if your investigation is complete or not.
Some kind of a
I mean, do you need to see this?
A terrorist
you
act?
saw this on the news, didn't you?
What's the news? I listened to the news with Jake.
There you go.
Okay, yeah, it's looks like Tel Aviv. That's a city.
Where do you think Tel Aviv is?
Israel?
Okay.
All right.
Wow.
Fantastic. Great
All right.
pull. Yeah, he knows.
I've been following the Richardson City Council.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
That's a lot of stuff, man. You know what? We should do. Let's get a piece of this rubble.
Yeah. Like a Sandman
And
memorial.
we have a Sandman memorial.
Memorial.
That's a great idea.
And we will have it in our studio. We'll just to those 21 who were injured on whatever date, 2023.
January 8th. Yeah.
Oh, 2024.
Yeah.
We will never forget.
Do I have to sign in to every news site?
It's a beating. The worst is this. Well, as my grandfather called it, the startlegram.
Okay.
The absolute worst. Every time.
Just seen a lot of burns. You asked what injuries do you get?
Okay. What degree are we talking?
You don't even know what that means. You have no idea.
Is it third? Like, what's worse, first or third?
Is it like DEF CON where it
Yeah.
comes up or down, or what are we?
Like DEF CON 1 is the worst, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes absolutely no sense.
I think I've recently learned like a 5-alarm fire
5 trucks.
is, I think, different cities get involved.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
I think you actually taught me that.
3-alarm is, Hearst comes up to Grapevine to help
Bedford.
out. Yeah.
Do you think it's offensive to name hot sauces after first responders scale? Because I do.
Do you?
Yeah. I
Well,
do.
they are our heroes.
Yeah. But I think heroes deserve more than hot sauce. Personally. But that's just me.
They should have like 5-alarm fellatio.
What?
Because they deserve that. Don't they? All heroes?
Jesus.
Unless they're ladies.
Is it still called fellatio when it's a lady? There's no way because it's not phallic, right?
That's cunnilingus.
Yeah. Okay.
Isn't it?
Yeah. Man dies after being shot on I-35 in Dallas following car crash.
What's the headline? So, man dies after doing what?
Being shot on I-35.
Shot after a car crash.
Yeah. We're talking about a road rage situation.
Okay, so first we get in a... Okay.
Yeah. 4 a.m.
Oh.
At I-35 in Woodall, where we used to drive quite a bit.
Man, when's the last time I was out at 4 a.m.?
Dude, I mean, if I haven't, you haven't. Honestly, the last time that I was probably out at 4 a.m. was like driving to the station.
What, for the morning show?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably the last one I could give you. But as I've told you before, the crazy thing is like maybe not 4, but more like 5:30. A lot busier than you would think. And the problem is it's dark, and it's not busy enough to be congested. So there's just a lot of cars on the freeway that are just going ape-s in the dead of darkness. And I remember being like, man, this is kind of a scary drive.
Do you stop for all traffic lights at that time? Like
I
if it's
stop for all traffic lights all the time.
Like it's a dead road, nobody's there. Do you stop at all stop signs?
Yeah. Dude, what is wrong with you?
What a loser.
I know.
Just obey the laws.
We're talking about you.
I know. I'm talking about you.
He's saying you're the loser.
I know. And I'm saying
If
you
no
guys
one-
just
if no
obey
one's
the
around,
laws.
Just go.
So you obey every law
Most of them.
in the world. Okay.
Okay.
I'd like you to pee in this cup.
I am clean right now. I can promise you that.
I'm even more sad.
I've broken your heart.
My hero.
It just seems like
going to bed at 10.
the guy yelling
Not
at
doing drugs, sir.
the flag football ref over a spot.
It was a
Yeah.
bad
He's not
spot.
the guy that stops at every
Right,
stop
I
sign.
know. Well, this dichotomy, this
Let me make a simple distinction
this
for you.
multi-layered human being that you are.
These are about rules, okay? The rule is where the flag comes out, that's where the goddamn ball goes, okay?
But that guy's ruling.
But the rule is you put the ball where the flag came out, not 7, 8 yards ahead of time. That's where the ball goes. The rule is when you see a hexagonal red sign, you stop.
A general rule to follow is to not curse in front of kids.
That's not a rule. Where's the book? It's very obvious.
My rule is I listen to authority, and if they say that that's what the spot is, I agree, sir.
That is 100% not true.
I mean, that's why they
why
put
you got
the stop
sued.
sign.
That's the news.
You should bring, like, Philip and Matt to one of your games.
Just have them debate it out.
Let them argue on your behalf.
Yeah.
Because you don't. That's the news?
Yeah, here's the problem. I'm out of money.
The Dumb Zone News.
I can't
like
pay any
and
of these people
subscribe.
any more money.
The Dumb Zone presents Today in History.
The ball goes where the flag comes out.
But if there's
It's
no
super
one
obvious.
around at the intersection, it is such a waste of time to just sit there.
Just slow down.
Right. It's like a minute and a half, 2
Oh my
minutes.
It's 10 seconds.
and
No.
I'll tell you what.
You guys
If there's nobody coming in oncoming traffic and I've got the red do not turn left, if there's no one coming, I'll turn left.
That's insane. You're a madman.
I
with
have
you, Blake.
places to be.
That's right. We got stuff to do.
My God. Busier
Yeah,
than-
and forget your
busier
stop
than
sign
both
in
of
the
you.
in the neighborhood. Let me just roll through.
I hate this team.
Well, unfortunately, you don't have any other options.
It's technically true,
You're
yes.
like a major league player in the 40s.
Right. Marvin
Little,
Miller.
little tie in there
Yeah.
to a book I've recently read. I never gave my review, did I?
You did not.
Well, you guys sound really upset about that. So we're recording this live to tape on Tuesday, January 30th. January 30th. 2 days from now, February 1st. What will we say then?
Anything you want.
Whatever you want.
Probably nothing.
Probably nothing. Probably just like talk about Luka and the Cowboys.
So on this day in 1911, James White, who was actually black.
Why did you look? Why'd you look at
His name is White. Don't you find that interesting? Maybe like when you would name a fat guy Tiny or a bald guy Curly.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was
Great
an
call.
intellectually disabled black man
He was a retard.
who was convicted of
Dude,
rape
you
for
are
having
unhinged
sex
today.
Whatever.
We don't want hinges, Blake.
He was so hinged for
Wait till-
so long.
wait till-
Dude, like 2 days ago, Dan, like I'm talking on the phone to Dan. He's like, man, I feel like you're being soft.
Oh, is that
Can I
it?
yeah.
Is that why you took the pre-workout too?
Yeah.
We've unlocked Retro Jake.
Raw dog the pure pump. Yeah, whatever. I don't care.
Now run a damn stop sign.
That will not happen. That will not happen. Sorry.
Why
Go
did I
back-
even mark this note in history? It's really weird, but it's okay. So he was convicted of rape for having sex with a 14-year-old girl when he was 16. Of course, the girl was white.
Yeah.
So there's a big part of the problem in 1911.
What city did you say?
Bell County, Kentucky.
Okay.
It's all checking out here. He was publicly hanged.
Oh, my gosh. That is just
And I feel like that's...
awful. A pretty late hanging?
1911.
No, I think there were more.
I mean, I
Much
understand
more.
the wild lynching.
Yeah.
But the kind of the
From
by
the
law
judicial system.
public hanging.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's
I feel
so
like
weird.
if we mandated it had to be a public thing, there would be no death penalty.
That is 100% not true.
You think?
Dude, I mean, I think Bob watched like a documentary about this once. And I was reading something about this just the other day. Dude, like in the 1800s, that was like the main form of entertainment. Executions.
Are people still allowed to go?
I just told you about the one the other day, right? Or maybe we didn't do that. I did it on IJB, and we're going to have somebody to talk to us about it tomorrow. Yeah, like, you can go to the family can. Both families.
Not anyone, though.
No, not anyone. But in the, like, 1800s and early 1900s, and I would even say not just America, like England and Europe.
Yeah, but we used to do a lot of things that aren't acceptable anymore.
Yeah, but my point
like we
is
talk
just-
about the UFC. Once it gets mainstream, people start to want to regulate it.
Okay, but it's still really popular.
Yeah,
my point is just that, like, there was a time where the human instinct was, I want to go see someone be killed. And I don't think that just leaves us evolutionary-wise.
Says the guy who watches Faces of Death.
I probably wouldn't go anymore, but I think a lot of people would.
Would you pick up a stone and be part of it?
I mean, people did.
Yeah.
You know, that was like a normal thing to do. Was just go watch somebody get their head cut off.
Also, so I think the story you're referring to is like an execution that went awry, as they seem to do a lot lately.
Yeah.
Like it didn't
Well,
work.
it's a new, like, method.
Where I saw that headline and was thinking, why don't they bring back the guillotine? Because that works every time, and it feels like that's, I would think, relatively painless comparatively.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, obviously I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never had my head cut off.
Although it is true that you will retain consciousness for 45 to 50 seconds.
I don't think that's true at all.
Because you'll say people used to say things, or
yeah,
their famous last words would always be while their head was rolling across the stage.
He doesn't think that's funny.
Blake doesn't.
Mm-mm.
Is that from something?
Did you know someone who was
had their head cut off?
guillotined?
No, I thought you were talking about like bugs. It's like they'll
bugs.
I don't know. Cut a chicken's head off, it'll keep running around for a little bit.
Well, a chicken's not a bug, so that doesn't make any sense.
Well, a bug, like you stomp it and it's got. I don't know. That's what I was trying to go through. I was like, what is he talking about? And then maybe I thought it was a reference to something.
What else happened today?
That's kind of why I didn't say anything.
On this day in 1933, Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of Germany.
Okay. You know
why? Okay, I'm reading notes of today in history. This is all. I didn't make it up.
Yeah, I know. Okay. I don't really know what chancellor means. Like, it feels like he's the only chancellor I've heard of. You know what I mean?
Well, Cam
Chancellor, safety from the Legion of Boom, the Seattle Seahawks. That's a great pull, Blake.
And that's the comedy you want to go with today.
I like that one.
I feel like I needed a rebound after the whole bug thing.
That was your rebound. I was like, oh, this
I
is
liked
gold.
it. I liked it.
Tough crowd.
Cam Chancellor. Right next to Earl Thomas.
Yeah.
Richard
Sherman?
No doubt. But,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard of another country having a chancellor. And I'm sure that they did. It's just not something I've ever heard other than Hitler.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't see anyone wearing that mustache anymore. Once Hitler did it, it's like,
yeah, that's done.
We're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
On this day in 1969, the Beatles staged an impromptu concert atop Apple headquarters in London. It was the group's last public performance. That is, so if you watch the Beatles Apple documentary that came out a couple years ago, that's the culmination, the end of the documentary is that, and it's very cool.
It is very cool.
Wasn't it really long?
The documentary?
Yeah.
Yes.
It was like 10 episodes. Yeah, it was pretty long.
It was many episodes, an hour each, yeah, or maybe 5 episodes, 2 hours each, something. But I thought it was fascinating.
Yeah.
Now, I also don't mind me some Beatles. So if you just have a disdain for the Beatles, you might not. Although I remember watching I think a Metallica documentary too once.
When they the therapist. That's where we got it.
And a lot of it was the process of.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that, and I can't tell you I listened to any Metallica.
I think part of it is that you've never played an instrument, so you're super interested in the process of writing a song. But also, that documentary is amazing. And the most amazing thing to me about it was...
The Beatles one?
Yeah. They're just on heroin. And, playing instruments.
Are they?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, right?
I wasn't realizing that. I know they're certainly...
Dude, I'm pretty sure they were,
flaming up some doobage.
It was more than doobage, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
They're, opioided out, and they can just still play songs, which I find incredible.
Well, you wouldn't really. You've never done heroin. Maybe
not.
It's great. Maybe it's easy to do stuff.
I imagine it's great. I imagine that's why people want to do it again.
And on this day in 1972, 13 Roman Catholic civil rights marchers were shot to death by British soldiers in Northern Ireland on what became known as Bloody Sunday.
And then a guy...
Because when they shot him, they were...
Put on a hat like the one you have on right now and played guitar with an echo on it for the next 50 years.
Who's that, Bono?
Yeah.
That would be The Edge.
Oh.
Did you think that Bono was the guitarist of U2?
I don't know. I know he's the main guy.
Yeah.
I could not tell you. So The Edge, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
That's the guitarist?
He wears a hat like that.
And who are the other people? Mr. Bully?
I think that's the only two I could probably off the top of my head name.
U2 Bully?
The Edge is famous.
Not a big U2 guy. I'm not.
I can't stand it. Personally, but I don't know why I needed to add that.
I don't even have to ask you.
Yes.
You've got disdain for anything before the year 2007, don't you?
Yeah, very indifferent. I did think it was funny they put all their music on the iPod. And everyone was up in arms about that.
That was also another day that Bob and I got crossways.
What?
He thought free music was cool?
Yeah, he's like, why do you care about this? And I'm like, they just put an album on my phone. I don't want this. I can't even delete it. I was like, this band sucks. Get this album off my phone. He's like, why does it bother you?
Because when you hit random, they'll
pop up. Yeah.
That's a good point. Great point, Blake.
Yeah, great point, Blake.
Back in his good graces.
You're finishing this thing strong.
Okay.
Birthdays is people, let's see. We have former Cowboy Josh Brent, 36.
Ooh. Wendy's.
What's that mean?
I'm pretty sure he was tased. Outside of a Wendy's.
He's not the guy that killed a teammate, is he?
He is.
Oh. And tased.
That's, yeah. Why
Different times.
Significant.
Correct. Yeah, the team brought him back as like a player development coach to try to I don't know, keep him mentally stable.
Okay.
And
cool.
it didn't work because then he got tased in his underwear outside of a Wendy's. Which, if you're gonna get tased, I mean,
Former Maverick Sagana Diop, 42.
Man.
Sagana, my job.
Made $47 million in his career.
Whoa. Didn't know that.
Wouldn't it be cool to be tall?
Yeah.
Gene Hackman is 94.
Damn, dude.
From Hoosiers. And lots of other stuff. You a
what's
Hoosiers
the-
guy, Blake?
No.
Do you urinate on it? What do you? Have you ever seen it?
Maybe I've seen clips of it.
Clips, he says.
And didn't
It's
he?
like talking to my daughter.
Didn't he say like he put 4 players on the court and was like, "No, my team's out there." Was that movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's why you don't like it, because you're into TCU women's basketball, and they're like, we only have 8. We can't play with 8.
No, I'm sure it's a cool movie. I just haven't seen it. And Gene Hackman is best known for his role in The Replacements as the coach.
I was going to say Enemy of the State. That's a badass movie.
Let's just say he's got quite a catalog.
Yeah. I think that's what we can all agree
We can all
upon.
agree that he's great.
94, dude. There's no chance for me.
What's your goal?
Just to see her walk down the aisle.
Shut up.
Yeah, that's super gay. Why would somebody say that?
I don't
That's
even
their
know.
only-
It just feels like that's
I want
like
to
the
see
thing.
them get married.
Yeah.
That seems weird.
Yeah, it does seem weird.
Did we just strike a nerve with Dan?
What?
I don't know. He went pretty silent on us
Yeah, he
for a
did.
second there.
And then he's deflecting.
Yeah.
Started crying. No, I have a goal, and it has nothing to do with those around me. I don't care how long they live.
100?
I want to live till 100. Like growing up, I always you have little goals when you're growing up. Like I always wanted to have a workbench. I wanted to have a fireplace. That's a pretty easy goal to achieve.
Yeah, okay, great, man.
So spare.
I wanted to be 6 foot tall at least,
Okay, you're doing really well.
and I wanted to live to 100.
Okay,
No.
well, those other 3 are like 90% obtainable.
Well, I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah,
I,
that's true.
I
And
don't
people
know
say that I'm a douche because I just wanted to cover kicks.
I don't think growing
For
to
Texas.
6 foot tall is 90%. Take a look at the stats.
It is shocking. It is shocking.
Like you think this guy wouldn't like?
That's true. Yeah, a buddy of mine.
Yeah, you.
A buddy of mine who does a podcast. His name is Michael. He lives in Vegas. You've met him, I think.
Michael Sartain.
Yeah. And he interviews a lot of hot women. And when a bunch of different podcasts have done this, but when you ask like a hot woman what they think, like the average income, average height, average this, and this, it's insane.
Like 6'2".
6'2", 150Ks average.
Yes.
It's like no, it's 5'8".
Well, how about in their
40 grand.
world?
Yeah.
Yeah. How tall are you, Blake?
5'10".
No, you're not.
Did that as you were growing up? Were you lamenting?
You're not 5'10".
What am I?
You're 5'9".
Just let me have 5'10".
Are you just saying everybody embellishes their height?
Yeah.
I think I'm pretty close to 5'10".
Okay, well that's different.
I'm not saying I'm 6'1". I'm just an inch off.
I just feel like when you're a kid, you spend a lot of time thinking about stuff like that.
Yeah.
That in the end, I think it was ridiculous and irrelevant.
Yeah.
But
literally the only thing that was given to me is my height. I was actually talking to my wife about this the other day. I was like, that's like the only thing I have.
It's worth something.
It's worth a lot.
Yeah.
I think it's worth economic value, to be honest with you.
Yeah, what are most CEOs are over a certain height?
Yeah, Freakonomics has done this study.
And if you're at a certain age and you still have all that hair, then you got that going for you too.
Yeah, I think that's going on me. But
I don't see that in your future. You just seem like a real
Hairy
hairy
fella.
ape. Yeah.
Hairy ape?
Like the ape doesn't really go bald. Like Blake with a lighter, that's a possibility. Do you feel like?
Keeping my hair.
There's no. You're guaranteeing that?
Yeah. Both grandpas, my dad, yeah, we all have hair.
Well, that's real cocky, man.
I don't care. Not cocky about a lot of things. I will keep my hair.
Pretty cocky about your height.
No, I'm not. I was very quick to stand down that, yeah, you're probably right. I'm not 5'10".
The 5'9" guys just
5'9"
like saying 5'10"
3/4.
because it adds another number.
Well, of course. I want
That's literally all it is.
I want 3 digits.
Yeah.
Phil Collins is 73.
Alamo.
Stoked on the Alamo.
Yeah.
Kid Cudi, 40.
Oh, my God.
Damn. Cleveland is the reason.
Yep, born in Cleveland. Wonder if he'll come out of the woodwork when the Browns are in the Super Bowl.
I think he was at some of the Indians games.
He did. He definitely did go to a couple baseball games, but I just want him to be alive every year.
Yeah.
That's one that you kind of got to worry about.
He seems to be doing better.
Yeah, I think so.
Dick Cheney, 83.
Which probably
shot a guy in the head.
Coincides with why his music is slipping.
That's a great point, actually. His
Messed
albums were so much better when he was just high out of his mind all the time.
Messed up people make good music.
Yeah. That's all. We should just be getting effed up.
Yeah, like Steve-O.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan because I think he was really bad on Comedy Bang Bang.
He was not good on there.
When it was
However,
a TV
he
show.
was really good
Reggie
on,
Watts was awesome on it.
Yeah, he was.
Welcome to America.
He was great on that.
Yeah.
I thought he was really, really good on that.
Christian Bale is 50.
Damn.
My Batman.
He's awesome.
You guys ever seen The Machinist?
No.
He weighs like 118 pounds.
Yeah.
Isn't he just like awesome in everything?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely, American Psycho is undefeated.
I've also never seen that.
Damn, dude. I know you read the book, but
Yeah.
you got to watch that movie. It holds up, like, to the book.
Okay.
Which
That's
is very
important.
rare.
Yeah. Actor Wilmer Valderrama is 44.
Fez.
Fez in that 70s show.
It took me probably 20 years to realize that just meant foreign exchange student.
Oh. Okay.
And I think I learned that when you told me.
Yeah, because I used to watch that show like every week. And I'm like, never dawned on me. Fez.
And Andy Milonakis is 48.
Damn, dude. That was a moment. You got some audio?
I just have his
The
song.
Super Bowl is gay.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl is gay. The Super Bowl is gay. Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl is gay. The Raiders are gay.
Okay. You're familiar with that?
Yeah, I am. I'm quite familiar. I was very confused by him as a...
MTV?
Yeah, for sure.
What was his bit?
Andy Milonakis show, for sure.
Just insane?
Yeah, and it was just like, everybody was like, is he young? Is he old? Is he a little person? I don't use that word anymore. It was confusing. But it was cool. He was very funny.
Born on this day, now dead, Franklin D. Roosevelt. What do you know about him?
World War II.
All right.
It's better than I thought he was going to do.
Yeah.
Wheelchair, stood up in Congress, said if I can stand up, then we can stand up to whatever.
Well, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that.
What's that?
Polio, right? Yeah. Constricted to a wheelchair, but then he was saying something about the war, and then he stood up in front of Congress and said, if I can stand up and do this, then we can do something what he was trying to do. I don't know. It was a big part of Pearl Harbor.
I've never heard that.
No, I haven't either.
Okay. Well, I'll look it up.
Well, I'm going to buy it. Look, I'm just impressed.
This is from Pearl Harbor, the Ben Affleck movie?
There's some historical significance behind it, yeah.
I wouldn't think you'd have to convince everyone after Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, guys. I need to see this guy stand up first.
Yeah, how about the guy in the wheelchair? Do a trick.
Then I'll be do a trick, do a kickflip. All I remember, an ollie. All I remember about Pearl Harbor is the Team America song of "You Missed the Mark," like Michael Bay missed the mark when he made Pearl Harbor.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah. Can't remember the female. Sorry.
New Deal, he's the reason there's Social Security, right? Franklin.
Yeah, and
FDR?
what's really great about that is we continue to uphold and protect those programs of social safety nets, and they progressed over the rest of the 20th century. And we have universal health care now.
I think actually it's the opposite of what you're saying.
I'm sorry, what?
Payne Stewart, born on this day, now dead.
Corby.
Sorry, Corby. What a day that was.
Yeah.
And Mary Kay Letourneau.
Oh, damn.
Jake.
Yeah. That's a legend. That's a Hall of Fame. That's the Hall of Fame I should build.
To teachers who had relations with their students?
Yeah.
It's the one that they're like, look, see, it wasn't bad. We got married. We had kids. We love each other.
Ruth.
Yeah. Died on this day. You have. All right, let's. Blake, identify these people.
This is not going to go well.
It's going to go great, I think.
The movie may have exaggerated.
So in the movie he stood up?
Dude, yes, because I watched that movie a lot. I thought it was cool.
That seems like. Okay, first of all,
why would you
I
watch
thought
that
it was a
movie a
crappy
lot?
movie. I
Yeah,
thought
it
it
was
was
terrible.
Well, as a 10-year-old, I thought it was great. Cuba Gooding Jr.'s in it.
Say less.
Okay, so died on this day.
Yeah.
In 1836.
This won't go well.
That was way different. Betsy Ross.
Made the first flag.
There you go.
Pretty good.
1948. Orville Wright.
This is funny because I remember it because of you, because you said that he invented flight.
He invented flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like
him and his brother.
Birds had never thought of it before.
Right.
A weird thing was, so him and his brother, Wilbur, you don't get a lot of Orvilles and Wilburs anymore, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I always remember growing up, we learned Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. That's where the first flights took place. That's where birds were watching going, oh, okay.
Oh, damn, I can take off.
And
why are we just walking around?
what
are these for?
The streets were littered. It was a sea of black, just birds all over the place back then.
Yep. Everywhere you turn. It was like basically like squirrels.
But then I moved to Dayton. I got a job in Dayton. And I think before that, I didn't really realize they were from Dayton.
Yeah.
And everything there is named after them.
Dayton Flyers.
And I didn't know that's why they were the Dayton Flyers. And Wright State University was because of them guys.
Them guys?
Yeah.
They invented planes. You could show a little more.
Ferdinand Porsche. That's kind of an easy one.
Do you guys think it's haughty when people say Porsche?
Porsche.
Like, is that a rich guy way to say it?
Yes.
Porsche de Rossi.
Yeah, but that's actually spelt that way. It's Portia.
That's true. So that was a terrible point by me.
That's true. You've had a lot of terrible points today.
Yeah, well, I'm getting them out of the way.
Yeah, for sure.
And then died on this day 1 year ago today.
Uh-oh.
It was John Adams. Since you remember everything I say, Blake.
Wow, what was he, 215?
Do you know who John Adams is?
Yeah, president, but
That's not the same one that died a year ago today.
Oh. Okay.
He's the man
that was my joke, Blake.
He is the man at the beginning of this song.
Indian fever.
know who he is?
No.
Really? You're a winner at every game. That's where the excitement begins. So catch Indian fever. Be a believer in the Cleveland Indians. Here's John Adams. Wait, oh no, there's... interlude.
Indian fever. It starts from the very first inning.
The first inning.
Indian fever. Each game is a brand new beginning.
That rhymes.
It's the hits, the homers, the double plays. It's how you feel when we win. So catch Indian fever. Be a believer with the Cleveland Indians.
Here he is. He was the drummer who sat in the bleachers at Cleveland Stadium.
Okay.
You know what's funny about that is that the John Adams that Blake was thinking of definitely gave a bunch of Indians fever. Thank you.
That's strong. Strong way to end.
And that was Today in History.
Adios, mofo.